Hi. Hello, hello. How is everybody? We'll be starting this lesson in about 42 seconds. An English lesson that might make you a little bit hungry, as it is about toppings, things that we put on certain foods. Let me just test to make sure everything is working. Got my slides ready for this English lesson. It looks like the live stream is going. So you should see it in a minute. We'll start in about 17 seconds. Yeah, there we go. There is one fly flying around here, so I might be a little distracted as we do this lesson, but we'll start in about 1 second. I guess we're starting now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this English lesson about toppings. I think last week or the week before I mentioned toppings, things that you put on top of other things. And I thought to myself, I think I could do a whole lesson on toppings. Now, I must admit, this is very much a North American English lesson. I'm going to talk about the kinds of things we put on top of ice cream, the things we put on top of pizza, the things we put on top of our hamburgers and sandwiches and other things. And we call all of those things toppings. So this will be a lesson where even though I just had breakfast and these are not breakfast foods, I am going to start craving ice cream, pizza, and hamburgers as I do this lesson. But anyways, thank you for being here. Welcome to this English lesson about toppings. Before we get started, I do want to say hi to Huawei, Freddie Wolf, Dave the Canadian here to moderate the chat, Lolly, Learn by Word, Marcus, Kenny, Orkin, as I scroll back, Key Park, Vitor, Wanda. I see some members. I see some regulars. I know Ruslan is here. Igor, Fabian. So good to see all of you. Fatima is here. Stepan, Rafino, Tatiana, Rhett, Musa. Hi, Musa. Good to see you. So good to see all of my regulars here. Remember, use the chat to have good English conversations. This is also a chance for you to practice your reading and your writing skills. So do chat with each other as we watch. Hi to Giovanni as well. I see Giovanni in the chat. If you do have a question during the lesson, there is a link in the description below. You can click that and submit that to me, and I will do my best to answer it. There's a fly here. Oh, I think I missed it. Sorry. There's a couple flies in here, so I might be a little distracted this morning. Hey, New Words with MP, thank you so much for gifting the membership. Gifted one Learn English with Bob the Canadian membership. That is awesome. Very cool. Fabian was gifted a membership by New Words. Thank you so much for doing that. That is great. Yes, if you have a question, there is a link. Please do not use the chat to ask questions. I don't look there for the questions. It kind of goes by too fast sometimes. So should we get started? I think we should. Let's see what the first slide is. Whipped cream. So we're starting with ice cream and other types of desserts. Whipped cream is made from cream. And as you whip the cream with a mixer or blender, it kind of starts to foam up a little bit and it turns into this wonderful cream. It's basically made with cream and sugar, maybe a little bit of vanilla if you like vanilla. But whipped cream is a common topping for ice cream, pie, even a brownie. A brownie is like a chocolate baked square. A lot of times we will put whipped cream on those types of desserts. Now in English, you might hear someone say whipped cream without pronouncing the ED. This is technically incorrect, but we do say it. Like, I like whipped cream on my pie. I'm supposed to be saying whipped cream. You hear the ED, whipped cream. But when we speak quickly, we sometimes don't pronounce it or forget to actually say it. So I like whipped cream on apple pie. I like whipped cream on ice cream as well. Yummy thing to have as a topping. We also have something called chocolate syrup or chocolate sauce. This is something that we always have in our fridge. We almost always put it on ice cream when we eat ice cream. It just adds a nice yumminess to it. There's a new word for you, yumminess. So even if I'm having chocolate ice cream, I will put chocolate syrup or chocolate sauce on the ice cream because I find it quite tasty. And then we also have caramel syrup or caramel sauce. This is made, I think, by cooking sugar a little bit till it turns brown. I don't think you burn the sugar, but there's a process whereby you can make caramel. And so I love having caramel sauce or caramel syrup on ice cream as well. We don't normally have this in the fridge though. We only buy this topping every once in a while as a special treat. But we always have chocolate syrup or chocolate sauce in the fridge. And syrup and sauce for both of these is interchangeable. Chocolate syrup, chocolate sauce, you would hear both. Caramel syrup, caramel sauce, you would hear both words used. And then chocolate chips. Normally, this is something you use when you're baking. If you make chocolate chip cookies, you put chocolate chips in with the other ingredients. But we often put chocolate chips on top of our ice cream as well. Again, this first set of toppings is mostly going to be the things we put on ice cream. I will try to remember if we put the topping on something else as well. But often, like last night, I had a bowl of ice cream and I had some chocolate chips and chocolate sauce on top. It was very, very good. And then chocolate sprinkles. So this is something that we always have in our cupboard because my parents originally came from the Netherlands, and this is a very popular topping to even put on toast. So this morning I actually had toast with butter and chocolate sprinkles, which we actually called, this is a Dutch word, I think, hagelslag. If anybody here is from the Netherlands, I might have said that wrong. But chocolate sprinkles are little pieces of chocolate that you put on ice cream and some other desserts. Whenever you use whipped cream, sometimes you put some chocolate sprinkles just for fun. And then we, of course, just have sprinkles. These are just not chocolate. So the word sprinkle, whenever it's something small like that, we call them sprinkles. So chocolate sprinkles and sprinkles. And these would just have more of a fruity taste to them, these types of sprinkles. And then, of course, sometimes we will put chopped nuts, maybe chopped walnuts, maybe chopped peanuts, maybe chopped pecans. There are different nuts that taste really good with ice cream, and we use them as toppings. Now, all of these things together are used to create what's called a sundae. And a chocolate sundae would have chocolate on top. You might have a strawberry sundae with strawberries on top. So a sundae is a bowl of ice cream with different toppings on it. And one of those toppings could be chopped nuts. And then, of course, maraschino cherries. I hope I'm saying that correctly. We usually just say, I'll have a cherry on top. But a maraschino cherry is a cherry that is preserved in a jar, and it has this very bright, vibrant red color, and it's very, very sweet. So sometimes we will have a jar of maraschino cherries in the fridge, and we'll take one out and we'll put it on top of our ice cream. And again, whenever you have whipped cream, sometimes if you have whipped cream, even on pie, you might put a cherry on top. And then, of course, fruit or berries. I mentioned strawberries. We also put blueberries on top of things. You might put fruit or berries on top of yogurt as well as ice cream. You might put sliced bananas on top of your ice cream as a topping. Many, many different fruits and berries are used as toppings. I in particular like strawberries. Right now in Canada, it is strawberry season. We can buy strawberries year round, but right now the strawberries are field grown Ontario strawberries. I live in the province of Ontario, and those strawberries during the month of June always seem to taste the best. But yes, strawberries are very, very yummy as a topping. Hot fudge. So you might wonder, how is this different than chocolate syrup or chocolate sauce? Well, hot fudge is a thicker form of chocolate, and it's actually warm. That's why it's called hot fudge. And when you put this onto ice cream, it kind of gives you a mix of cold and hot to eat together. The ice cream is very, very cold. The hot fudge is very, very warm, and it kind of melts the ice cream a little bit with each bite, and it just tastes amazing. I'm a big fan of hot fudge. In fact, right now, McDonald's has a deal where you can buy a hot fudge sundae for only $2 Canadian. They do that during the summer. And Jen and I usually end up eating too much of it, too many of them, because it's such a good deal and it's very, very yummy. Cold ice cream with hot fudge on top. And then sometimes we just crumble up cookies. These are Oreos. Someone has crumbled up Oreos to put them on top of the ice cream. You can have ice cream with crumbled up chocolate chip cookies. We don't usually put the whole cookie on as a topping, but usually the cookie is crumbled up. That means it's broken into smaller pieces. Very, very tasty. In fact, I think this ice cream flavor is called cookies and cream. And I think the person has added some extra cookies as a topping on top. Super yummy. This is actually making me hungry. This is, by the way, this is the first picture that made me hungry. I don't know why. The hot fudge made me hungry as well, but this one really did for some reason. But hey, let's look at some questions. Let me have a sip of water here, and then we will move on. I want to say hi to everyone who is here. Ruslan in the chat says, cherry jam is my favorite. I got to stay away from that. Oh yes, we do sometimes put jam on top. Freddie Wolf says, all these toppings are very good. Unfortunately, it dangerously lowers our center of gravity. Yes, I think you mean we might put on some weight if we eat all of these toppings. Let's see here. And then what is the price of ice cream in your area? It depends on how good the ice cream is. There's quite a range. Let's see here. Let me get the first question on the screen from Ruslan. Hello, dear teacher Bob. How are you today, sir? I'm good. I actually am more relaxed because even though I do need to go to work, I'm not teaching classes right now. It's just meetings and finishing up some little things. So I'm very relaxed. I don't have to rush out today. What is your favorite pizza and which one is the most popular in Canada? My favorite pizza is just pepperoni pizza. Cheese, pepperoni, sauce. That's all I need, and a nice crust. And then what is the most popular in Canada? I don't know, but we have a pizza called the Canadian. So when you go to a pizza place in Canada or a pizzeria and you say, oh, I'll have an extra large Canadian pizza, it usually has pepperoni, mushrooms, and bacon on it. There's different, it's slightly different at different pizzerias, but I think that might be one of the most popular, or a pizza that we call Meat Lovers, which has bacon and sausage and pepperoni and many other things on it. Let's see here from Renata. Hey, Bob, I hope all is well in your life and Jen. So I'm a little bit in doubt about this. Do we only put icing on cakes or can we put toppings on them too? Thanks. Yes, you can do both. So most of the time a cake will have icing, a very thin layer of very sweet icing. I'm having trouble describing icing. It's just a sugary sweet layer of cream type stuff. It's hard. An icing is icing. That's how I describe it. Sometimes though, there will be a few toppings on the cake as well. Maybe a few pieces of fruit. I've seen a cake that had kiwi on top. Sometimes when we slice the cake, we might put on some whipped cream and maybe a cherry, especially if it's a dark chocolate, like a Black Forest cake or some kind of chocolate cake. But generally you have a cake, the cake will have icing. And when you serve the cake, you might put a few toppings on it. That would be how I would describe it. That's what we've done in the past. A piece of cake with whipped cream and a little bit of chocolate sauce. Yes, we would do that. Let's see here. From Rabiz. Hi, dear Mr. Bob. 2 different questions. 1, do you pay attention to English phonetic sounds during the English class? So I don't know a lot about how to tell people how to pronounce things, except to give examples. So I try to pronounce things as properly and as clearly as possible. And why do you take pills every night? I take 2 pills. One, to prevent a buildup of plaque in my heart. I'm not sure exactly. It's called a statin. And then my other one lowers my heart rate because I do not have a regular heartbeat unless I take medication. So there you go. Now you know. The fly's trying to get in on the lesson. Ario, hola, Mr. Bob. How are you? Wow, today's lesson is about food. Yes. What toppings do you like? I like pizza with cheese. Pizza with cheese is my fave. Reminds me of that video. So pizza with cheese is the most basic form of pizza. One of my kids likes eating cheese pizza. We actually just call it cheese pizza if there are no other toppings. So yes, definitely very, very yummy. In fact, you can buy like 3 cheese pizza where it has 3 different cheeses on it. I like pepperoni. I like chocolate chips and chocolate syrup on my ice cream. And maybe bananas. I like pepperoni on my pizza. And with my hamburger, I like almost everything, just not onions. We'll get to that in a moment though. Let's see here. I'm going to skip the next question because it's not on topic. Sorry about that. And I do want to say hi to the 282 people watching. Welcome to this English lesson. Fabian, do you know Arequipe? No, that is a Latina. So Arequipe, I'm not sure where the accent is. Arequipe. This is a Latina American sweet candy. It's prepared with milk and sugar. I recommend you try it once. I'm planning to go to an international grocery store this summer to get some yummy things. I will look for that there to see if they have it. Henry from Taiwan. Hi, Teacher Bob. What ingredients does Teacher Bob appreciate less on his pizza? I don't like anchovies. I don't really like green olives, but I like black olives. And does Teacher Bob like lobster topping on his pizza? I have never had that. I do not live in an area where there's a lot of seafood, and so it's not common to have seafood toppings on our pizza here. I live pretty far from the ocean. But I could see if I lived close to the ocean, there would probably be seafood toppings I could try. Nasu, hi Bob, how are you doing today? Can you please tell me sundae versus dessert? So a sundae is something made with ice cream. So you get a bowl, you put a few scoops of ice cream in it, you put some toppings on, and you have a sundae, an ice cream sundae. Dessert is anything. Dessert can be pie. Dessert can be a brownie. Dessert can be jello or pudding. Dessert can be ice cream. So it's the general term for all the things we eat. Yes, by the way, this is not a lesson about how you should eat more sugar. You should actually eat less sugar. It's not exactly good for you. But we're going to keep talking. I think I'm moving on to pizza in a little bit. So, Lolly, elle disait, please don't put pineapple on pizza. Italians don't do that. Merci, Bob. I will talk about pineapple as a topping and the controversy around that in just a moment. Let's see here. Winter Wright. Hi, Bob. Thanks for your teaching. The word toppings is new to me. In my city, some chefs put sesame on the meat or vegetables. Have a nice day. Yeah, we have sesame seeds on the tops of our buns. Often when you buy a hamburger, the bun will have sesame seeds on top. Not as a topping on the actual hamburger, but on the very top of the bun, there will be sesame seeds. Very, very common when you're getting a hamburger. And last question, and then we'll get back to the lesson from Giovanni. Do you like bubble tea? I have not tried bubble tea. Wait, I know I did have a sip and it was really sweet. I haven't purchased and had bubble tea myself. I have tried it, but usually it's just a sip from someone else. If you do, what's the regular one you always order? I don't have one. And ask for when you go to a bubble place. So bubble tea is relatively new in my part of Canada. We just started to see bubble tea shops open a year or two, maybe 5 years ago. And so I haven't had a chance to try bubble tea yet. I will put that on my list as well. So arequipe, if I'm saying it right, and bubble tea. I will try to remember to try both of those. Okay, let me check the audio and get back to the lesson. Yes, good. Hi to the 313 people watching. If you're new here, don't forget to click this red subscribe button. You will be notified I put new English lessons out every Tuesday. I have a second channel called Bob's Short English Lessons where I put a video out twice a week, Wednesdays and Friday. On this channel, you'll get notified when I do a live stream and all that good stuff. But let's get back to the lesson. Let me check the chat for a sec. G Gorilla Runner says, so much sugar is everywhere. My favorite topping is celery and iceberg lettuce. Oh, interesting. Vitor, is pineapple an acceptable pizza topping? No way. The controversy has started about pineapple. I won't say what I think yet about pineapple on pizza. Let's see. Let's get back to the lesson. Let's do that. Mozzarella cheese. So the most common topping, in fact, a topping that is so common some people don't think it's a topping, is mozzarella cheese. So when you go and buy a pizza, in Canada, generally when you order a pizza, it's going to be crust, tomato sauce, and cheese. That is a basic pizza. And then from there, you add your toppings. But I wanted to add mozzarella cheese because one of the toppings you can get is double cheese. So when you order a pizza in Canada, and I'm sure in other parts of the world, when they say, if you say, I'll have an extra large pizza, and if they say, what toppings would you like? You could say, I'll have double cheese, pepperoni, and bacon. That would be a common thing to order. When you have double cheese, it literally means twice as much cheese. It makes the pizza quite tasty. And we usually use mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella cheese is a very somewhat fresh cheese. It's not a cheese that's aged for years. It's a cheese that's made and it's very stringy and gooey when it melts. That's what makes it good for pizza. And then, of course, one of the most common toppings, if not the most common toppings for pizza, is something called pepperoni. Pepperoni is a type of dried sausage that has a bit of a spiciness to it. And when it is on pizza, it gets nice and crispy. And it also is a little bit greasy. It adds a little bit of grease to the pizza, which has a good flavor to it as well. Let me describe those two things again. When you cook something and it becomes crispy, it means like crunch, crunch. When you bite it, it has a little bit of crunch to it. And by greasy, I mean the pepperoni lets out some oil when you cook it. So you can see this pizza has a little bit of a shine to it because the pepperoni is a little bit greasy. But that makes it good, by the way. And then another common topping here is ham. If I zoom in, this pizza might even have pineapple on it because ham and pineapple is another common topic. I keep saying topping for pizza here in Canada. And some people do argue about whether it is good. In fact, I'm just going to check for a second. We call it Hawaiian. That's usually what we call it, or ham and pineapple. So anyways, ham is, of course, a thinly sliced meat that we often just use to make sandwiches, but we also will put it on our pizza. And then bacon. So bacon is a very crispy meat. We put bacon on a lot of things in Canada. It's definitely a topping for pizza, but we also will eat bacon by itself on a sandwich. We'll have a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Sometimes we have eggs and bacon for breakfast. Bacon is just a very common meat to use as a topping because it's kind of salty and has a very yummy taste for people who do eat meat. So bacon is a very common topping for pizza as well. If you order a meat lover's pizza, it will have pepperoni, bacon, and sausage on it. Speaking of sausage, the sausage we put on pizza doesn't look like the sausage at the bottom. We usually crumble the sausage up, and so it looks like this when you put it on pizza. So this is a sausage. If you break the sausage open and you crumble it up, so you make it into tiny little pieces, that's how we would use it on a pizza. And again, it's different in different places, but meat lovers pizza might have pepperoni, bacon, and sausage. It might have pepperoni, ham, bacon, and sausage. It might have a whole bunch of different types of meat. And it's called a meat lover's pizza. So when I go to a pizza place, I can order a cheese pizza, a pepperoni pizza. Supreme has like pepperoni, green peppers, and mushroom, I think. And then Canadian has bacon, pepperoni, mushrooms. Meat Lovers has 3 or 4 kinds of meat. So there are names for different pizzas. And Hawaiian pizza would have pineapple and ham. Green peppers. So let's talk about some of the vegetables that you will find on pizza. You will often find green peppers. It's one of the most common vegetable toppings in Canada. A green pepper, of course, looks like this. It's definitely bigger than that, though. That's a pretty tiny looking pepper. And the nice thing about green peppers is they are not hot. They are very mild pepper. It doesn't add spicy heat to the pizza. And so often we will cut up a green pepper or even red or orange. There's different colors, and use those as a topping on pizza. And then, of course, mushrooms. This is a pretty common topping. I think like a pepperoni and mushroom pizza is pretty common. That's pretty yummy. I would eat that. I'll eat almost any kind of pizza, by the way. But mushrooms, of course, look like this. They grow in dark places, dark, cool places. And then when you cook them, they add very unique flavor. I think mushrooms add a umami flavor. Umami is a kind of a funny word. You'll have to look that up possibly. Let me put that in the chat for a sec. I think this is how you spell it, umami. And then onions. I actually don't like onions as a topping. So onions, of course, when you cut them, they make you cry. Onions add a very unique flavor to things. You can eat them raw or you can eat them cooked. When you cook them, they get a little bit sweeter. And this would be a pretty common sight. Someone would put onions on their pizza to add an oniony flavor. So onion is another topping. I don't think it's as common as the other toppings. Jen likes onion on her pizza. I don't really like onion on my pizza. I prefer not to have onion. And then olives. So there are green olives and black olives. I like black olives on pizza. I don't really like green olives. They have a slightly different taste, but I will also admit that in Canada, we do not have high quality olives. We can't grow olives here. And so I think if I ever went to Spain or a country where they grow olives, they probably taste way better than they do in Canada. All of our olives come from somewhere else, and they're in a jar and they sit on a shelf for a long time. So I'm not sure olives are the most yummiest type of topping that they could be. But I still like black olives. They are yummy. I like the saltiness and the bitterness. Pineapple. So here's the what is kind of controversial for some reason. Some people love pineapple on their pizza. Some people think pineapple should never be on a pizza. And so I actually like ham and pineapple pizza. We sometimes call it Hawaiian here. And I like the sweetness and a little bit of sour from the pineapple and the ham. Often in Canada, when we serve ham as a meat, if we roast a ham in the oven, we will roast it with pineapple. So pairing is something you do with food. You'll pair 2 foods together. Pineapple and ham often go together, like besides pizza. And so having ham and pineapple on a pizza is a nice flavor blend, but some people really, really don't like it. I, however, don't mind pineapple on pizza. There goes the fly. And then, of course, it isn't just your pepperonis and your bacons. Sometimes you can have chicken on a pizza. In Canada, when you order a pizza with chicken on it, we usually don't use tomato sauce as the sauce. We might use a pesto as a sauce. We might use an Alfredo sauce. We might use a white sauce. We might even use a barbecue sauce, but we don't very often use a tomato sauce with cheese and then put chicken on it. Usually we change the sauce if we use chicken as a topping. I think it just tastes better probably. And then hot peppers. Some people love things hot. And by hot, I don't mean temperature, I mean spiciness. Some people like jalapeno peppers on their pizzas. Some people like pickled hot peppers on their pizzas. I don't mind hot peppers on a pizza, but no one else in my family likes that, so we don't often order that. So as a topping, it's an acquired taste, we would say. Some people love having hot peppers on pizza. Some people find it a little too spicy. But to me, this would probably taste good, having some hot peppers on a pizza. That would be yummy for me. Hey, let's do members only questions. I see Eugene from Automation Secure Home saying time has changed. So yes, I'm going to be doing the lessons this summer for the next 2 months, a little over 2 months, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, just because it's nicer for me. I get home late from market on a Thursday, and it's nice to be able to get up a little bit later to do the lesson. But hey, let's go to members only chat for 10 minutes. So I'm switching the chat to members only. If you are a member, first of all, thank you very much. Your membership fees help me run this channel. I use the money to buy things like microphones. Oh, this isn't a whole microphone. And lights. And a really long cable to go from the house to the barn so my internet runs better. That was the last thing I purchased with membership money. So thank you to those of you who are members. If you are interested, there is a join button below. And then I want to just do a little, I'm going to make some more graphics for this, but just a little nudge that there is something called Preply, and there is a link in the description below to Preply. This is a place where you can pay to hire an English tutor, and I do highly recommend you do that at some point in your English learning. Do go there. It is an affiliate link, so I do earn a little bit of money if you sign up for Preply, but it's also something that I used when I was improving my French a few years ago. I did a number of lessons with different teachers from Preply, and it was very reasonably priced, and it really helped me a lot. But anyways, let's get to some members' questions. Let me look at the chat. From Fabian, Teacher Bob, I have a question. Do you like root beer float? I've read that is popular dessert in North America. And by the way, I'm a member right now, so I'm excited about this. Thanks for becoming a member. Did you get the free, I think you got the membership gift, right? I don't like root beer floats. A root beer float is when you fill a glass with root beer, which is a type of soda, a carbonated soda, and you put a scoop of ice cream in it. I don't like floats. Never have. My sisters growing up loved them. I did not. Still don't. New Words with MP says, hello, sir. Hello to you as well. Vitor says, hi, Bob. Do you like leftover pizza? A night in the fridge makes the pizza delicious. I do. I like cold leftover pizza from the fridge, of course. I also like cold chicken. Like if we order barbecue chicken or chicken wings, I like eating that cold the next day as well. Wanda says, hi, Teacher Bob. Do you like sweet pizza? Here in Brazil, this kind of pizza is also very common, especially with chocolate. Thanks. I don't. We have sweet pizzas as well, or what we call dessert pizza. And usually what it is it's a pizza crust with some butter and then maybe cinnamon. Some do have some chocolate and other things on it, but I've never been a fan. I think I like my pizza as my main dish, not as my dessert. Lolly Lolly, Key Park. I have some relatives in Italy and they never put pineapple on their pizza. Yes, it's discouraged in some places for sure. Giovanni, how about Asi Akebo? I don't know how to say the word. Sorry. Bulls, Mr. Bob. Have you tried it? In Brazil, we always ask for powdered milk, a topping along bananas. Oh, no, I have not tried that. The idea of buying bowls of food is also relatively new in Canada. So we have been a country where we eat lots of pizza and hamburgers and sandwiches and subs, which is like a bun with meat. But lately we've started to see what's called bowls. So you get a bowl with some rice and some beans and some avocado and maybe some barbecue chicken. And Jen and I have really started to enjoy eating those. So I will look for more of that. Key Park says, oh, so lolly lolly pineapples are not traditional pizza topping, right? I don't think they are. I think it's an American invention, by the way. John Wedge, hi Bob. It's amazing to be able to be here today. Last Friday, I couldn't watch the live stream, and it's always good time to learn from you and all the friends here. No questions today, just listening. Good to see you, John. Always good to see you. Thanks for stopping by and listening for a bit. Let's see here. New words with MP. What can I say for juice toppings? So often, if we put something on top of something that's liquid, it's either a syrup, which is a very thick liquid, or a sauce. Syrups and sauces are very similar. A syrup is always sweet, though, and a sauce can be a little more salty. But we kind of use sauce for both. But we probably wouldn't use juice as a topping. We would thicken it a little bit. Freddie Wolf, hi Bob, no question today. Just thanks for all these yummy ideas that I've been able to apply to my food, or shouldn't I? After the end of your lesson, I'm going to exercise a bit, or maybe even a lot. Yes, that's a good plan for sure. Fabian says, Teacher Bob, I recommend you try once in a while salsa tartara. In English, is tartar sauce, is a condiment made of mayonnaise, chopped pickles, and relish, is delicious with pizza. I have not had it with pizza. But in Canada, when you order fish and chips, you always get tartar sauce with it, and it is delicious. I do like it very much. Hey, let's look at some questions from the forum, though, and I'll keep answering members-only questions. First one from Nima. Hello, dear Teacher Bob. Thank you so much for your great videos. We all owe you a lot, sir. Best regards. Well, you don't owe me anything. A thank you is nice, but you don't owe me a thank you, but I appreciate it. And these lessons are free. If you do want to become a member, though, that's awesome. If you do want to watch the ads at the beginning before you watch a lesson, that's awesome too. That helps me. Let's see here. From the chat, Naomi, I wonder if matcha powder can be used as toppings. Perhaps. I like wooden oven small fish toppings pizza. Oh, that would be yummy. Yes, I should try that. I need to go to a bigger city like Toronto to find a restaurant like that. So Vitor says acai. Acai. You can pronounce like acai, Bob. Thank you. I might still be mispronouncing it. Giovanni, I can't deny it. It's a torture to watch the lesson while being on a diet, Mr. Bob. Ha ha ha. Yeah, yesterday I had ice cream, but before I have ice cream, I have a rule that I have to have over 15,000 steps that day on my Fitbit, or I'm not allowed to have ice cream. So, matcha is powdered green tea. Oh, yes. Okay. And then Lolly says, you're right, Key Park, and I don't like it. Good pronunciation lesson, Vitor. Let me get another question from over here. From Farouz. Hello, do you know, teacher, in my country, we have many delicious traditional food like couscous and chakucha. Thank you so much. I feel really bad when I can't pronounce something, so I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. But yes, I will look both those up as well. From Leo, hi Bob, it's nice to watch your video today. Do Canadian people usually use sweet ingredients such as chocolate on pizza? In Brazil, we use it a lot. Thanks. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we do have dessert pizza. So you can get a dessert pizza where it has like bananas and chocolate sauce on it and maybe some chocolate sprinkles as well. I don't often order that though, but it does sound yummy. Oh, here we go. Shortest comment ever. From Yaneth, the comment is no. I'm not sure what they are saying no to, but thank you. It's you starting to practice English is something you do in little steps. So you have taken the step of saying one word, and that is awesome. Let's see here. Vitor, yes, you did it. Perfect, Bob, says John Wes. Giovanni, as you mentioned, chicken. Since I arrived in America, the one I've mostly eaten is Wingstop, boneless with ranch. Yum. Yeah, so you can get a lot of different variations on chicken when you go to a restaurant. Jen likes chicken with barbecue sauce. That's really yummy. Okay, I'm going to turn off members only chat. And once again, I am going to thank all of my members. Remember, if you want to support the channel, there's a couple ways to do that. Actually, there's 3 ways to do that. 1 is to watch the ads at the beginning of the videos. 2 is to become a member. And 3 would be to look into whether you would consider becoming, joining Preply to practice your English. Those would be some ways you could support me. And again, none are required. You're free to watch these lessons however you want. That's not a problem. But I do think we should finish this lesson off. Let's do that. Hot peppers. We're going to talk about hamburgers now. Yes, so let's move on to hamburgers and some other sandwiches. So ketchup is probably the most common topping. We also call it a condiment in Canada and probably North America. I know in some countries mayonnaise is very popular or mustard is very popular, but we are very much a ketchup nation. We put ketchup on our hamburgers. I put ketchup on scrambled eggs. We put ketchup, sometimes we use ketchup with French fries, but it's definitely a very common topping on a hamburger. Now remember, with a hamburger, the topping is actually inside the hamburger and usually on top of or below the meat. So even if the topping is below the meat, like the tomato and lettuce, we still call it a topping. It just depends on how you like to build your hamburger. Ketchup is, of course, made mostly with tomatoes and a bit of vinegar and sugar. It's a very yummy, yummy topping. I do like ketchup a lot. Mustard is, of course, made from mustard seed. Now, the difference between mustard and ketchup is that mustard is a little more, it has a nicer flavor, like a stronger flavor. We would say that mustard complements meat really well. So if you are someone who eats meat, mustard can make hamburgers and sausages and hot dogs taste better. It's a yummy condiment. And ketchup has sugar in it. Mustard usually doesn't. So if you are someone who wants to make sure you're eating healthy, mustard is sometimes a better choice. Relish. So relish is generally made from cucumbers, and they're pickled cucumbers with some vinegar and sugar. And most relish in Canada is quite sweet. In fact, we call it sweet relish. And so it looks like this. Finely chopped cucumbers. I think they are pickled, which means there's some salt involved in the process as well. And then there's definitely sugar. So relish. These would be probably the 3 most common toppings for a hamburger. Ketchup, relish, and some mustard. And then we also sometimes use mayonnaise. So again, mayonnaise made from oil and eggs whipped together. Mayonnaise is kind of a fun tasting condiment or topping. We use mayonnaise sometimes on hamburgers, but it's more common to use mayonnaise on a sandwich. So if you have 2 pieces of bread with some meat, you might put some mayonnaise on as a topping. But I know when my relatives visit from the Netherlands, they eat a lot of mayonnaise, more mayonnaise than me. And by the way, we just call it mayo. Do you have some mayo? The short form's a little easier to say than mayonnaise. Barbecue sauce. So barbecue sauce is kind of a smokier, meatier tasting form of ketchup, if I could say that. Barbecue sauce is used as an ingredient when cooking meat, but sometimes we also put it on a hamburger as a topping. What I mean by that is sometimes when I am barbecuing hamburger patties, by the way, the meat in a hamburger is called a patty. When I'm barbecuing them, I might put some barbecue sauce on while I barbecue. But sometimes when I am getting a hamburger ready to eat, I might put some barbecue sauce on after I've cooked it as a topping. So yummy, yummy, yummy. I do like barbecue sauce. It adds a nice flavor to things. And then, of course, the healthier options. Lettuce is very common, although Jen and I have started to use spinach instead of lettuce. You can buy baby spinach here in Canada, and we use that instead of lettuce because it's a little darker green. and a little healthier. But yes, this green part here is called lettuce. It adds a little bit of vegetable freshness to your hamburger. And then tomato, of course, the red vegetable you see there is tomato. It's very common to use tomato as a topping. You can even buy like a club sandwich has tomato on it. A BLT obviously has tomato, bacon, lettuce, and tomato. But in terms of hamburger toppings, tomato and lettuce are probably your two most common vegetables to have on a hamburger. And then onions. Once again, I don't really like onions. I don't know what it is about onions. It's not that they give you bad breath. That doesn't bother me that much. You can just brush your teeth. It just makes my stomach feel funny. I'm not allergic to onions, but I never feel good after I eat onions, raw or cooked onions. But raw onions, very common topping. I almost said topic again. If you watch the lesson again, and if at any point I say topic instead of topping, I mean topping. Raw onions, very common topping for hamburgers for some people. And then, of course, cheese, which immediately turns the hamburger into a cheeseburger. So a hamburger has no cheese. A cheeseburger is just a hamburger where someone decided they wanted cheese on it. So they use cheese as a topping. The cheese is almost always right on top of the patty, and it's usually put on the patty right at the end of the cooking process for a few seconds, or immediately when the patty is put on a bun when it's still very hot, so that it's the only topping that melts a little bit. Usually the cheese on a hamburger is a little bit melted. So it goes from solid to, well, you can see this one is oozing down the side a little bit. And then bacon. So bacon, again, is a salty meat, a salty pork meat. It comes from pigs. Another very common topping. It adds a lot of intense flavor. That's what you get from bacon, some really nice flavor. And then pickles. So a pickle, of course, is a small cucumber that's been pickled. That means it's been put in very salty water or a brine, a salt brine, and that preserves the pickle. So you buy a jar of pickles and you can slice the pickles up and put them on your hamburger. You can also buy a jar of pickles that are already sliced. That's very common as well. And then this is relatively new in the last 5 or 10 years. Avocado has become a very popular topping. All of our avocados come from, I think, Mexico. I think almost every avocado we buy comes from Mexico, and they are yummy. A ripe avocado where it's just a little bit soft, and you kind of scoop it out and slice it and put it on your hamburger. Very, very tasty. We don't do this often. In the winter, it's sometimes hard to find good avocados, but it has become a much more popular topping here in Canada. I think 10 or 20 years ago, not very many people ate avocados in Canada, but they are certainly becoming more and more popular now. Hey, that's the lesson. If you're one of the 361 people watching, thanks. That's awesome. I hope your English improved a little bit. I hope if you are in an English-speaking country and you need to order ice cream or some kind of dessert or a hamburger or pizza, you now know some of the toppings. I will admit, it was a very busy week, and this is what I would consider one of my easy grab topics. That's the right word this time, because it was very quick for me to make and very enjoyable to do. So thank you so much for watching. I am going to finish off the questions now, so you don't need to leave. Let me see how many there are. There's a few left. From Freddie the French guy. Hi, Bob. Thanks for this sweet and yummy lesson. By the way, if one day you come over to France, perhaps you'll discover other new toppings as our specialty. Going to change a little word there. We never know. Yeah, again, this is a very, I will admit, very much a North American lesson. Even if you went to Britain or Australia, there's probably other toppings that are very common there. This is probably very much a Canadian and American style lesson in terms of the toppings. the topic and the toppings. Let's see. From Yang, dear teacher Bob, I would like to know if topping is exclusively used to describe something that can be eaten. Can flowers be called toppings as well? No, we wouldn't call flowers a topping unless it's an edible flower. So there are some flowers where you can eat the petals. So you have a beautiful flower and you can eat the petals. And sometimes people will make a fancy dessert and use edible flowers as a topping. So great question. No, we wouldn't use toppings to talk about flowers in general, but when flowers are edible, when you can eat them and they're used on cake or other things, we would say that they are a topping. From viewer, talk with your subscribers. See, that's always been the challenging thing. It's hard to talk to people in the chat when I'm doing an English lesson. So the nice thing is, the first Saturday of every month, I do a live stream where I do interact a lot more. But I will try to remember in the future to interact with the chat a bit more. Oops, I actually accidentally said a bad word there. Did you hear that? Don't listen to that. A bit more. There we go. Sometimes you mispronounce something accidentally and it's a bad word. That can happen. Let's see here. From Gadir. Hi Bob, I like to watch your video every day. What do you like more, pizza or burgers to eat? I really, really like pizza. And I would say in terms of if I'm driving and I have to stop to buy food, I do like to buy a hamburger. So I would say this, as a family, 2 or 3 times a month, we go and get pizza. We get takeout. I think in the UK you would call it takeaway, but we go and get pizza. We come home with boxes of pizza and we eat it. If Jen and I are driving somewhere, I'm more likely to buy a hamburger if I'm hungry, simply because it's easier to eat while driving. It's easy to hold a hamburger, and it's just smaller and more convenient. Have you ever tried to eat pizza while driving a vehicle? It's a little difficult. And hamburgers are yummy too, right? So let's see here from Roman. Hi, Bob. I'm your fan. My question is it hard to learn other people or is it hard to teach other people? It's easy to teach other people on YouTube because no one's talking in the back of the classroom. But in the classroom, it can be hard to teach other people. Yes. Abdi Kafi, hello there, Bob. I have no question, but I'm curious to know which kind do you like, French fries or dipping sauce or shoestring? Thank you. So there are a number of different kinds of French fries, and I don't like shoestring. That's really, really thin fries. I like a good hearty French fry. And then I usually put ketchup on the plate and I dip the fries in the ketchup. I don't usually like different dipping sauces. So there are things like ranch dipping sauce or habanero cheese dipping sauce. With French fries, I like ketchup, sometimes a little bit of mayonnaise, but that's really it. There goes the fly. Julie, actually, you just talk as normal speed is a good lesson anytime. So I tend in my Tuesday lessons to speak very clearly, the recorded lessons. During the live lessons, I try to speak very clearly. I'm doing that right now, but every once in a while I get excited and I talk my normal speed like I did just right there. So the live lessons are good because you get a little bit of a mix of my normal speed and this kind of a slower teaching speed that I sometimes use. Okay, let me look at the chat here. Enjoy the summer in Canada. Eugene says we can have new technology display that can get more viewers. Cool. What is the difference between hamburger and sandwich? So a hamburger is a round bun with a beef patty on it made from ground beef. A sandwich is any time you have 2 pieces of bread with something in the middle. It can be like just vegetables. It can be meat. It can be peanut butter and jam. That is a sandwich. So hamburger, round bun with a patty, beef patty. Let's see here. Thank you so much from Santa. No problem. Question from now, are the toppings of this lesson? Yes. And then enjoy the summer in Canada. I will definitely do that. And Bob, tu connais de la moutarde de Dijon? Oui, le moutarde de Dijon. We have Dijon mustard here. It's usually a little pricey, and we usually save it for fancier things. We don't always have it with. So at Christmas, my sisters make croquettes. They make like a small deep fried thing with chicken inside, and we dip it in Dijon mustard. Very, very good. Let's see. John says, and hey, before you leave, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Thanks, John, for that. But anyways, I am going to say bye to everyone. Thank you. I'm done answering questions. I'm going to wrap the lesson up. Here's what you should do. If you want to improve your English and you want to help me, this is a win-win. Come back in 2 days and watch this lesson again. There will be a shorter version. I will take out all of the viewer questions and create a pure lesson on toppings. Listening to that lesson for a second time will help you remember everything that you learned today. So do that. Number 2, if you do like my lessons, do give a thumbs up. Do leave a comment. I don't always have time to answer, but I do read through them. And then that's really it. If you want to be a member, you can be. If you want to look into Preply, you can. But other than that, just learn your English. Just do some hard work. Become a proficient English speaker. That would be thanks enough for me. Again, before I go, if you're one of the 365 people watching, don't forget to click that red subscribe button. Have a great day. I'm looking forward to summer. My summer starts in earnest next week, Thursday. I have a few meetings and other things to go to, and then it will be all done. Anyways, bye, everybody. Bye to John Wedge, Julie, Delvi, Lolly, Dave the Canadian. Thanks, Dave. Freddie Wolf, Key Park. Bye to Sophia, Anton, or Anto, Key Park, Naomi, John Wedge again. Let me scroll back. Who else is here? Oh, yeah. Eugene from Automation Secure Home. Chimak, Tudu. Let me go back here. Vitor, of course. Ruslan is here somewhere. I think Ario is here as well. All the regulars hanging out. Renata, Cecilia, and all of you as well. CS team, bye to you. People are starting to say bye in the chat. Bye to Tudo and everyone else who is here. Oh, Irina is here as well. Bye to you. I think it's a good cue to hit end because the dogs just started barking. Someone must be here. Bye to G Gorilla Runner, Naomi, New Words with MP, Mateus, Hazi Singh. I don't have my reading glasses today. Anyways, bye everybody. You guys are awesome. Have a great weekend. Someone's here to buy flowers. That's what's happening. That's good. The more flowers we sell, the better.